In my teenage years, my closest friend on the island was Beans. His real name was Frank McDonald. I will tell you how he got this name at the end of the story. As lively teens, we had our moments of adventures and pranks. One of these happened at the ferry docks. Ken Lai, the oldest in our group, and the instigator, put me on his shoulders, covered us with a very large raincoat. We became 12 foot tall and looked like Frankenstein. Beans put on another dilapidated coat, hunching over to look like a hunchback, and walked like a deformed cripple. Frankenstein's friend Igor. We went to the end of the dock at the water's edge where, with the fog, we couldn't be seen. We didn't have to wait long before we heard footsteps, obviously a young lady who came to take the ferry that was not there yet. We walked out of the fog, as if we rose from the water, and looking so grotesque, she screamed, turned, and ran home. I've never ever heard a scream like that. It was blood-curdling. And then there was George Stein's bike. He called it his trusty steed. It had only half a handlebar, only one pedal. There was no seat, just the post, and he was the only one that could ride it. He would ride it all the way over to Center Island when we went to Borden's Dairy Bar on the main drag there. The good part was that he never had to lock it. One of the big events on the island was the annual masquerade, where all of the children and adults would get dressed up and parade in the park near the shelter, and Les Lai would run the proceedings. Another event, which couldn't happen today, was we had annual minstrel shows. Everybody would put on a blackface, like Al Jolson, and do comedy, music, and song and skits with deep South humor. Meryl came to the island in the summers to babysit her cousin. This is where I first saw her. She also sang in the chorus at the minstrel shows. These were very special times. Later in 1963, the cottage we no longer owned but still loved washed away into the bay due to high water. We used to say that we were 101 miles from Toronto. We were only 1 mile away by water, but virtually 100 miles from the city. Frank McDonald got his name Beans by accident by my mother. She was in the cottage cooking a pot of beans when Frank showed up with his red, wiry hair, and it looks so similar to the beans in the pot. She looked up at his hair and said, "Beans." The name stuck. Penny wrote about some of the island life in her book called Peril on Pier 9, an accounting of the Noronha disaster of 1949.